Steve Robbins here. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. I love public speaking. Actually, I do. I really love public speaking. But most people don't. They're terrified of it because they're afraid they'll look silly. Well, of course they will if they wear a paisley and plaid combination. But a little upfront preparation will help ensure you come across at your best. However, it's not just the content that we need to prepare in advance of a public speaking gig. Pilots use a pre-flight checklist to make sure a plane works before they try to fly it. We call this prudence. I've developed a pre-flight checklist for public speaking to ensure that your speech has the greatest possible chance for success. Tip number 1, make sure your clothing is in order. When giving a speech, you don't want to be upstaged by your clothes. When Janet Jackson has a wardrobe malfunction, it's $100 million worth of free publicity. When you or I have a wardrobe malfunction, it's a public embarrassment as we become the overnight laughingstock of YouTube. Guys, make sure your fly is buttoned, or zipped, or whatever it does. If you're wearing a button-down tie and shirt, make sure your top shirt button is buttoned and your tie is snugly tied with no gap between the tie and the shirt. Then, double-check that your tie isn't peeking out the bottom of your jacket. Really. You just zipped your fly. You don't need your tie to form an arrow highlighting the fact. Women, make sure any support straps are covered by your clothes. If you're wearing form-fitting clothes, and you can, since your bodies actually have a shape, unlike men, who, well, we're basically just big dough blobs, make sure anything that wrinkles is smoothed out. And everyone, make sure your shirt or blouse is completely tucked in, and if you have a microphone pack, it's as unobtrusive as possible. If you're wearing a jacket, smooth it down and zhuzh it so that it will drape nicely. And if you button your jacket, leave the bottom button open to allow movement. If you're doing a seated video interview, tame your jacket. Jackets can ride up around your ears without you knowing it. Your neck will disappear and you'll look like Yoda. That's bad. You want a neck, like Han Solo or Princess Leia. If you're sitting down in a jacket, sit on the tail of the jacket to keep it taut and smooth. Tip number 2, plan for a clip-on microphone. If you're going to be recorded, consider an outfit with a belt, jacket, or collared shirt. If you're wearing a crewneck shirt under a pullover sweater, there's nowhere to clip a mic. Clip-on mics usually have a battery pack. Put the battery pack under your jacket so it can't be seen, preferably even clipped to your belt at the back. Hide the cords by running them inside your jacket, blouse, or shirt. This will boost your confidence as you realize, for the duration of the presentation, you are now half man and half machine. Tip number 3, check out the lighting. Many lecture halls, especially in hotels, have horrible lighting. Someone spent $100 million to build a big, beautiful conference hotel, and they hired Fred, the guy with no taste, to do the lighting design for all the presentation rooms. Overhead lighting throws shadows on your face and makes you look like Joan Rivers before her latest facelift. You'll need a friend to help with this. Walk around the stage area and have your friend point out the spots where the light best illuminates your face. Notice where on the floor that is and try to stay there during your presentation. Tip number 4, avoid the feedback zone. This is one time when positive feedback is a bad thing. If you're holding a microphone or have a clip-on mic, you run the danger of producing feedback through the audio system. Find out where the speakers are and make sure you know how far away to stay and which direction to face so feedback isn't a problem. In theory, the sound engineer will make sure you don't feedback. In practice, the sound engineer is outside smoking a cigarette and doesn't care if you make the entire auditorium go deaf by standing too close to the speakers. Tip number 5, make sure you can read the presenter notes. I recently gave a TEDx talk where they provided a screen for presenter notes, visible only to us, as we were speaking. I'd prepared my presenter slides with a very small font and was standing far enough away from the screen that it was hard to read. If you will have a prompting screen or a teleprompter, take a few minutes before you begin to adjust your position and the text size so you can read it. Tip number 6, have water and notes easily accessible. If you're presenting for more than 20 minutes or so, have a lectern or a table with a glass of water and a copy of your notes easily available. You want to sip water as needed to keep from getting hoarse. And looking down at your notes occasionally is fine. The classy way to do it is to step over to the notes table, glance down, and then look back at your audience. Do not carry your notes in your hand and stare at them like a deer trapped in headlights. They're there for a bit of prompting, not as a script. Know your material coming in. And tip number 7, double check as you begin. Arrange with the tech folks in advance, the sound engineer and cameraman, that they should give you a thumbs up shortly after you begin so you can be sure everything's going well. If there's a technical problem, it's better to stop and fix it quickly than to discover after the fact that the recording you needed didn't happen due to a last-minute glitch. Public speaking can be scary, and it can be super exciting. If you want to deliver a masterful performance every time, use these tips as a checklist to make sure the stage is set to highlight you and your great content. This is Steve Robbins. Email questions to getitdone@quickanddirtytips.com. Surprise, surprise, I do public speaking on topics including entrepreneurship, leadership, and how to plan and live an exceptional life. If you want to know more, visit steverrobbins.com. That's SteverRobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.